Carnival on the Now Morning Show. And when you think Vulgar Fractions, you may not think a mass, but it is. This year they are bringing back Nuff for Carnival 2023. And to tell me more about it this morning, I'm joined by designer and band leader, Mr. Robert Young. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Now, while we were on the break, we were talking a little bit, and you tell me it's a hard mass to play.
Because the mass requires the player to make part of the costume, right? So we have workshops between now and as far as Monday night, where people get involved in making part of the costume.
Almost like a crash course.
Yeah, that you have to use your hands, you can't play a mass just like that, you have to be involved.
Look at it. So right off the cuff, it is a different experience. But explain to persons who may not understand. First of all, what is a vulgar fraction?
A vulgar fraction is what you know. Vulgar to me is the common,
right.
the folk, right? So a folk fraction of folk, right? But also in what we learned in school, vulgar fraction is something that's indivisible by itself or something like that.
Correct, correct. A vulgar fraction is it's not your favorite thing. It doesn't work easily with everybody else.
So like a vulgar fraction we did in 2020 was 70 over 50, which was the 50th anniversary of the Black Power, or what I would call the February Revolution, which Nuff is part of.
Right. Now, vulgar fractions is one thing, and Nuff is another.
Yeah, so Nuff is the National Union of Freedom Fighters. It's a group of young people, a network of, it's a union of small cells that exist all over Trinidad between maybe, must develop, could be as late, early as 69, and went on until about 74 till they were stamped out.
Okay.
There are a group of young people who were part of NJAC and maybe supporters of the mutiny that happened with the army.
Okay.
Who said Trinidad is not going the way we want it, and I don't know if it were their ideologies at that point. They were pushed into the forest and had to pick up arms, or they decided they were picking up arms. So this is the longest standing insurgency in the English-speaking Caribbean. It lasted 2 years. Yeah.
Now, when you think it's just mass, it's much more than that.
So we're using the idea of Nuff. We're not telling people to pick up anything now. The idea of Nuff, of young people having enough passion, enough drive to say, okay, I go and put myself on the line in my life, right? And I don't agree with dying for causes,
right?
But these people did it. People like Beverly Jones, she was killed on the September 17th, 1973. So this year is the 50th anniversary of her death. People like Guy Harewood were killed. As much as 18 young people were killed. And the government had organized, the state had organized at least 400 people from the military and police to go after them.
Wow. So that these freedom fighters and what they represent is what we're putting into the mass.
So we swinging this environmental thing now.
Okay.
So what is too much now, right? Nuff. As how that songs, and looking at what is happening with the environment, and when we had the panel, we had a trauma psychologist specialist talk about the effects of what she called slavery, indentureship, and colonization. How that impacts on our lives, and how that immobilizes us from leadership. And Nuff was an example of young people saying, I'm going to try something.
Right.
They weren't like shut down, because there are people now with arms who are shooting each other for turf and for honor or whatever.
Right.
And I ain't saying nothing against you there. But the group of people who also were, in most revolutionary struggles are working class, unemployed people.
Right.
And so I use the idea of the CPEP uniform as a representation of the working class in Trinidad.
Got it.
And we played with it. And when we did the shoot, we went to Cora, close to where some of these people died.
So that we're seeing not just, of course, the portrayal of the freedom fighters themselves, but also today's version of the working class.
So we took the arms and made them into wands, or I could call obeah tools, made of bush flowers. It's like a wreath, because last year we had a band that actually was on the road.
Yes. the silent
Right.
this morning. And I'm saying to myself, we had no carnival, so how did you all manage?
Because we had a procession of wreaths,
Right.
of human wreaths, at 7:30 on Carnival Tuesday.
Now, what you're describing essentially makes this far beyond the mass experience that you would usually have. But the numbers are far smaller than the mass experience you usually have.
Because bands were organized, people could break a branch and play a mass. You didn't have to be in a band, because Vulgar Fraction is not a registered band. We never register.
Right.
I don't particularly agree with having to. People mass is so packaged now. People figure that they have to go and they buy it in a box, nice small box, and you get it and you have a costume, and it's not something that was fought for. That is a practice of rebellion, and also joy is a biggest form of resistance, showing that we haven't been squashed, and that we can say no for things. And also with Nuff, we this is a very hard thing to talk about, because the people who are part of Nuff, like one Jai Kernahan, he has written a book on this, and 4 publishers pulled out because of
The content.
And what it touches, because most people don't know about this. It's not taught in school as a history.
Right. And I mean, we can understand why. If you're talking of persons who are forming a rebellion, ultimately, there will not be that support nationally.
But we learn about the Cuban Revolution, we learn about the Haitian Revolution, and we hear about failed slave rebellions.
Right.
Right.
But we don't hear about this one at all.
Yeah.
So, in a way, this mass is going to continue to tell that story, perhaps revamped every so often, because this year with the CPAP inclusion or inspiration, it's a little bit modernized in that regard. Yes?
So Vulgar Fraction chooses a team every year. So Nuff, when I had the coalition, we had something called coalition, as fragile as a paper doily. Right.
We get the idea.
Yeah.
So that we will continue to see iterations of the same message ultimately. That it, as you said, it cannot, or you do not agree with it being bought, and that it should be more inclusive and representative.
We have room for people to either partake in the workshops, and also the small spaces still available. So you could contact me 7749368, or look for Vulgar Fraction on Instagram or on Facebook.
Nice. Now, as much as you're saying smaller numbers, what is the grand number in total?
Grand first is 35.
You see what I mean?
Right. Because that could make 2 bands.
Oh, nice.
Because we could split easily by just getting lost. Because the band also, you have to be masked. Your face is covered. Taking on some of the aspects of the goon or masquerade. That is a big part of where Carnival has come from.
Right. So that we are going to be having the option of actually taking it to the road, or just participating in the workshop?
Yeah,
so that you can participate in the workshop and not play.
Yeah.
This is an option.
Yes.
Perfect. So that you get the history, you get the craft, you understand what you're a part of,
right, yeah.
but you don't necessarily take it
tell
to the
stories,
streets.
we gather. So.
And you're saying these workshops are going as late as Carnival Monday?
Yeah, as late as Monday.
Ooh, when do you get sleep?
No, it's the small pieces.
Okay.
Vulgar Fraction, some people have built, say this something really good Monday and come in on Tuesday morning and build a costume.
Nice.
Right, because we move as a group, and we have people. We have actually, this band has splintered. People have broken up and set up their own bands.
Right.
So like Makeda Thomas's, she has a baby doll band.
Right.
She played with the Vulgar Fraction, and she has this band that has happened, and did some really good work in the last 3 years.
And in that case, we will probably see some more spin-offs, because inspiration is everywhere.
Yeah.
But in terms of the band, small numbers that we can still become a part of, workshops still happening, and we're taking it to the road. Do we see anything happening outside of the Carnival season, with Vulgar Fractions for 2023?
Well, we had when we launched, we had Jai Kernahan, who was one of the leaders of Nuff, speak. We had Tracy Assing, environmentalist, indigenous woman, talk about her activity and family connections to it.
Right.
We had a young woman called Giselle Ragonanan, who's a environmentalist, and we had Ruana Haynes, who's a environmental lawyer who works for small states like the Marshall Islands and islands that are going to be covered in water soon. And Waveney Richards, a trauma specialist. So talking about the effects of what has happened to those people, because those people who are part of Nuff still have, and most people who are involved in 70 still have some residual post-traumatic stuff happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So that these conversations will continue outside of the season?
Yes.
Beautiful. To find out more and be part of those conversations, give us those contacts again.
All right. 7749368, that's my number. Vulgar -fraction on Instagram. You can register there or get information, and also on Facebook. Facebook.com/
Vulgar.
TT Carnival.
TT Carnival. And in that case, Robert, it was more than just a body mask from the beginning. But I'm so glad that you came this morning to share it with us,
Thanks.
to enlighten us, and to, of course, give us the opportunity to continue to learn that information, as you rightfully said, is not widely shared. It's really what the Carnival does. It shares that history in a different way, and we thank you for it. But for now, if you guys wanted to be part of the Vulgar Fraction crew as they bring back Nuff for Carnival 2023, check them out on Instagram and Facebook. And for now, we'll be back with even more for you here on In the Morning Show.
History.